Welcome to the Tea Party. I am your host, Trevor Welcher, and I have some special guests today. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but it's a lot of history in Augusta, Georgia. And this is episode 1, and I want to introduce you to some of my friends, some of my family. And they have some stories to tell, they have some information to give to you, the audience. So I'm going to sit back and just listen and be a fly on the wall, because not only do we have William Avery, we have Montego Cummings, we have Chris Norris, and we have my big brother Hawthorne Welcher Jr. So right now in Augusta, Georgia, it's a lot of great things happening. We have a lot of people doing a lot of amazing things. But the one thing that I want everybody to understand and realize, these 4 gentlemen have been doing a lot of things over the years. But they're a part of a remarkable event that happened. And what year was that? West Side and Thompson game? 95. And I'm a product of Richmond Academy. And so I do understand that Big Bro has a lot to say from the ARC, the Academy of Richmond County. But not only is it about basketball, it's about everything going on from here on out. And so I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Let's go. Let's get into it. What happened? Let's start with the game. What happened?
I'm going to let Montego talk, because actually he was the headliner. Him and Rick, they were the headliners. I was a baby. I was in 10th grade, and I remember the newspaper the day of the game. They were face to face, but they set the bar. So I was a part of the game. It was a great game. But those 2 guys were the headliners, and obviously they didn't disappoint. So I'm gonna let V tell it.
And you can't hold back, because I hear this every day.
Will Sykes, he said he was a part of the game. Yeah, he was a part of the game, but he was a main part of the reason the game was going on, So, but at the same time, me and Rick was the same year. We have been compared to each other ever since freshman year. So everybody knowing the CSRA, that was going to be a battle. And at that time, we was 1-2 in the state. So it was always like junior year. It was a headline. We came in as junior year, but the good part about junior year, what Will was talking about would have been his 9th grade year, was Hawthorne that was ranked 2. Kenny Smith, Kenny Curtis, then you had Westside, then you had Thompson, then you had the girls, Josie, Hesper, Laney.
So it wasn't just the guys, it was the girls.
It wasn't just the guys and the girls. So that was our junior year. And then come turn around senior year, we both played a great schedule. We chose to play a non-region schedule, play a national ranked schedule. So, but Westside also played a good schedule. They traveled and played into Tennessee, So we both, record was the same. We both had 1 loss, like 2 or 3 losses. So we came in, when we had like 2 or 3 losses, they had 1 loss. Came in, we still was 1 and 2 in the state. Montego Cummings, Ricky Moore. So it was just a big game. But for me, it was always about Thompson versus Westside.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, you served as a mentor. Definitely a big brother, older brother to Montego. And also Beyond Boy, Antron Lee. Tell us some of your experiences, because you were still involved in that era.
So you're right. So me and Montego are from the same league, right? So we KC Cherokee all day, every day, right? And we try to go in and make sure, that we try to, take care of each other. So we've always been close. It's he has an older cousin named Cowboy. So Cowboy and I, were 2 of the standout athletes in Thompson. So, we didn't play a lot of JV ball. So we've always played varsity ball, right? So we've always been in the thick of things as it comes to Thompson and Augusta in regards to sports, right? So, Man, so we call him Man, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
He was, he was our trainer. He was one of our managers, right? And it was, always in the way, right? We couldn't get nothing done because he was gonna make sure that he'd been involved with it. You trying to scoot him out the way, he's coming through the path in my backyard where we had the whole court there. you know, he'd probably be me outside to go in and pick up the ball. So we spent a lot of time together. You know, we've always been real close in regards to that. So a lot of it was just kind of instilling that confidence, right? You know, just reminding them that, you know, great things come out of Kennedy Circle and Cherokee. Great things come out of Thompson. You know, and always for us, it's always been in the system of making sure that we gave back, right? Young moved down from Peoria, was having a, you know, a lot of issues up there, you know, in Thompson, he'll tell you instantly, right? You know, things that he was dealing with. So, you know, that's kind of been our link. That's always been what it is, you know, and he's always made sure that he paid homage. And that's probably the biggest thing that I respect most, right? For the ones that paid the way. You know, we're historians, and so that's always been what it is. Do you understand the history of what Thompson High basketball is about? You know, those that have came before you, that paved the way, you know, and then what do you want your legacy to be? So that's our link as far as our connection and our relationship. So.
Absolutely. Big bro, what you got?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm actually, man, I do a lot of talking, a lot of conversation, and of course, you know, I got some stories, some things that I really want to share from the West Side and Thompson perspective. I know that we'll get into it. I think that, you know, based on what Chris was saying, it's like, you know, these guys here, man, you know, All-State, All-American, those type things. But I think that, you know, when they give homage, I think the foundation, though, the foundation, you know, I knew nothing about, before then, you know, for me it was all about, you know, that fear of going playing on that lunchroom floor. You know, at Thompson. I'm just being honest, the lunchroom floor at Thompson.
Right.
You know, we had this khaki brother, you know, named Chris Norris. Then you had this Jerry Care dude, you know, D Boy, you know, just pull up from the half court. They had a little shimmy move, whatever the case may be, you know, that kind of thing. So, and I got some stories, I know intro, so I got some stories to share on that. And then from a West Side perspective, you know, it was a hate. I mean, that was our route. But it was a immature hate. I would say that because we men today, so ain't no hate today.
Right.
And you know, I know that, you know, Will is here. Definitely wish that Ricky Moore was here, because Ricky Moore and I, to be honest with you, we ain't never had no conversation.
Wow.
I just want to hear their story. You're right. They had the game, but the game wasn't supposed to be the game. The game wasn't supposed to be the game because Richmond ranked number 2 in the state. I think y'all put them out. Richmond was supposed to be in the game because Richmond was ranked number 2.
Wow.
Hey.
I'm gonna be honest.
Wow.
I mean, my freshman year, you know, Richmond beat us twice. I think both games were overtime.
Yeah.
Both swept the regular season. And we caught them in when we had a sub. We don't have that
Okay,
anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
We caught them in the sub. Y'all got
That's
upset
how-
by Lane.
No, that year, Richmond beat you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you called Richmond the semis.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ended up catching Richmond, knocking Richmond out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that year, to me, Richmond was the best team in the state that we had seen. I mean, they were loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at, you know, you bring a guy, a Power 5 guy, Ty Shine off the bench. You know, nobody had that.
Yeah, brother.
You know, nobody's bringing a Power 5 guy off the bench.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
I don't know if Oak Hill do that. you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? But and so to me, they were the best team in the state. And I remember that game like it was yesterday. Montego makes 2 free throws, and then he never stopped. I think he
That's
finished
right.
like 35 or something like that. He just clearly, you know, took over the game. But it took a great performance from a great player
That's right.
to eliminate that team.
I'm just hearing, I'm reading in the paper, you know I'm reading.
And that's a change for us, because when we came through, you know, we played West Side.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
Augusta, and then you had, of course, all the Augusta schools. Then you had Thompson and Burke County, you know, that were on the outside per se. You know, but we all played each other throughout the regular season. You know, in all games. You know, and then when it came to the region time, but you know, like Will was saying, you know, that sub region, you know, and I heard you and Vaughn talking about it earlier, the 14 as opposed to the 2 team. I think that's probably what I was most pissed off about, right?
Yeah.
It's because we knew that we had an opportunity where one of those 2 teams was going to end up, and for us to go in. I think the first time that we experienced actually was Washington County with Greg Mounder and Maurice Menson, right? And 89 with Chuck Graham, Keenan Man, and all them was playing. That's the first time that we experienced where you had, and the year before, Thompson had knocked out Laney with Sheldon Owens, right? Apple, right? You know, so Apple ended up going to Shaw, being the all-time leading scorer there and everything else. but that was my freshman year. So they had beat us twice in the regular season, but when we got to the region, they came down there to the doghouse, and we gave them that business, right?
Yeah,
so,
bro.
you know, those are things that start changing because now, even then, that was the sub-region. And so they never even made it to the region, and it was a done deal.
What I love about each one of the schools is it's a different dynamic, it's a different identity. Talk about what was your identity at the school, because it was different for each school. Like right now, like I can honestly say Richmond has about 3 or 4 rivals, and I don't understand the why it's 3 or 4, and some schools only have 1. But talking with Big Bro, understanding some things that have gone on in the past, now I get it. You know, it was during that time that was your rival, and during this time it was Thompson. It was Westside, because you all were all ranked in the state. All the best players came from Richmond, Westside, Thompson. So during that era, y'all had the golden. Y'all were in the golden era. Y'all were in the golden era of basketball in CSRA.
I mean, you take that 95 year where we finished 9 in the country. Our region out the finals in the semis, we're down 17.
Right.
We're 9 in the country. I mean, we've knocked off Science Hill that it was loaded. I mean, we're beating some of the best teams in the country. Here it is, we're down by 17 in our own region. You go to, we're playing Josie for the state title, that probably finished 4th, maybe, in the region.
Right. 13, 15.
Yeah.
That same year,
Yeah.
y'all knock off 2 ranked teams. We knock off 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
Murder Beach.
Yeah.
Who did Josie have then?
They just had a
Allen.
bunch of Derek Allen,
Derek
Kenny
Allen,
Frazier,
yeah.
Dion was young, Armand October,
I'm
Tony
gonna tell
Dagan.
you that number 9. I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, I think where Augusta changed and went to a national level. I'm gonna tell you my thought process. 2 things. One, you already know, Booker. You was a young boy. You was a young boy over there. You know what I'm saying? With Tim Daniels, and, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, your team, the first team. Y'all revolutionized. But for us coming up, you know, me and Frank Bureau, you know, we made varsity at 9 and a half, I'm gonna say 10th grade.
Right.
You know, that was a big deal back then.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? When
Yes,
y'all
sir.
came through, that was just like whatever based on y'all talent level. But I'm gonna tell you where it changed for me. The thought process was, okay, I remember Westside, Coach Wright.
Yeah.
Coach Wright.
Yeah.
Coach Wright. And I remember y'all were playing that national tournament. My thought process was, I said, well, okay, Westside gonna go. They might win 1 game or something. I'm just saying from an Augusta standpoint, yeah, y'all won the whole thing. And that's where it turned for me.
ESPN too.
Y'all won the
ESPN
whole thing, bro, in Kentucky.
Yeah. No, we
It was
won it in Tennessee, the Arby's Classic.
Okay, so ever since then, I'm like, well, dang. Took it from us being older guys, thinking that making varsity 9th, 10th grade, and y'all just took this thing, man, and just revolutionized it. I'm just being honest with you.
See, for me, my situation was a little different. I was blessed, and I knew that if anybody's gonna make it out of Thompson system, it was gonna be me. Because people don't know, like, I was a water boy from 3rd grade all the way up to the time I could try out.
Wow.
People don't know that. People think so I watched the Chris Nars, I watched the Xavier Smith, and I took something from all of their games. And I knew where the uniform go. I knew where the water bottles go. I knew everything. I knew what key go in that camera. I knew, you know what I'm saying? I know everything.
Yeah.
Like, so it might be like 15 people on the team, or when they need two to a, you know, you got to partner up in 2s. I promise you, Coach Thomas would put me with the weakest player. Like 3rd, 4th grade, I got held the ball full court against this. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that. So for me, I think Coach Thomas is like my second father. Like, he see me running around in Cherokee, like, let me get this kid before he, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, I like that though, because at the time, everybody go to the park to shoot. But you know, you have them rainy days where you can't go to the park and play.
Right.
So on them days, I'm in the gym with the real hoopers. Like, I'm looking at 4th and 5th grade, like, they play high school. I see them in the streets, like, they doing what they do, but everybody love them. They play Thompson is, you know, like, you understand, we only got 1 school.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thompson basketball is like, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? If you can wear that thing on Friday night, Saturday night, and run out that locker room, that's like, you don't understand. So that's what I wanted to do. So if anybody was gonna make it, I was gonna make it, because I seen all of that. I seen guys go to college. I seen good guys field. I seen it all. So if anybody was gonna be blessed, it was gonna be me.
He been modest.
And I give him a,
Yeah.
you know, and I shout out.
He has an uncle that really kind of like, you know, who was my, you know, my, what we call my Jagman, right? My, you know, my big brother, dude by the name of Bruce Martin, right? You know, and Bruce would dunk so hard, you know, but had a fundamental understanding of the game. They always, you know, they took out a lot of time with us, you know, and that's kind of like how I got with him, because Bruce had took out time with me. You know, he was a two-sport athlete, you know, basketball and football. You know, he was one of the first ones to pave the way for us. And so it's only right, you know, that not only are we from the same community, right, you know, but I owed that back to him, you know, and then of course me and his cousin was, you know, really good friends too. So, you know, that's the stuff that we saw. So it's always been, you know, and it's always been something that we've seen. It's always been something that, you know, that's kind of how Thompson is, right? We go in and we grab some at the young age, you know, we bring them in, we make them a part of who we are. You know, we didn't go anywhere without Montego, you know, of course, without Corn. You know, them guys that were always together. You know, my nephew. So that was real important. And like you talked about, you know, he was forced to go in there because it was. We didn't give him any passes, right? It wasn't no situation where because he was a couple grade levels behind us that we went in and decided that we was going to treat him any differently, right? We treated him harder and worse than we did the ones that we was balling with. You know, it's like I remember kicking, go get the ball, you know, and if you don't want to play with us, you know what I'm saying, then get out the gym. But ain't nobody gonna go in and give you no favors, you know what I'm saying. So we dealt with that because him and like you talked about, especially with Coach Thomas, right, with Cool T, that is the majority of our fathers in that community. That was the guy that really brought us from where it was that we was at. You know, I had the opportunity to speak at one of their banquets, and I think probably one of the, you know, besides him recognizing me as one of his OGs, right? You know, that's just how he look at me, right? I'm like, dude, you know, you serious? You know, but that's what Cool T was like. He said, man, for 8 years I had nothing to worry about. He said, you did 4 years, I gave you the ball, and then right after you got finished, I gave Montego the ball. He said, I never had anything to worry about.
Coach Thomas grew up in Cherokee.
And he grew up in Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Gotcha.
Okay, where you know what I mean?
Down in the cut.
So to go home and get to the school, he got to ride through, you know what I mean, the activity. And he sees us out there.
First one to get me a membership at the Y to teach me how to work out. Because all I knew, you just went to the park, worked on things. You couldn't do it, you worked on it. But now you got somebody actually putting you through something. You know? And that took my game, you know, to another level. But just, for me, I was blessed because I came in the era I came in, I got to see them. And I think that's what a lot of kids missing. They don't get to see anybody that's doing what you want to do.
Exactly.
So when I saw them, I was like, all right. And not in a self, I gotta be better than them. Not because I want to say I'm better than them, because I want to make it. Yeah, my competitive nature, I want to be better than them. But they set the bar so high. You kept working, you kept working, you kept working, you kept working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
and I think,
and I didn't mean to cut you off, but do you think that bar has been lowered now?
without a doubt, man.
Oh,
Without a doubt. I can't remember.
We hitting on some stuff now. Like, yeah, I know this.
I can't remember the last time, he was rolling in college. He wasn't just there, you know what I mean, on the team, you know what I mean? He was doing it, you know. Him and Rick was top 20 guys in the country.
Don't say yourself short.
You know, but I'm saying I had that was my competition.
Gotcha.
You know, I wasn't trying to say, oh, I gotta be better than the kids in my grade. Nah, I gotta do what they doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They end up with the top players in the country. That's where you want to be when you pick up the streets of Smith and you see guys you see their names in there from right here. You know, we already at a disadvantage being from a small town. You know what I mean? Because you could attest to this, Montego. Because now when you in college, you know, games all you like, shit, y'all ain't got nobody from Augusta. You know what I mean? Now you can brag. You know, I got Montego and Pitt, Rick. Now you can talk about it.
How they be coming at you.
Yeah, that's how they come at you. I was like, man, y'all ain't got no players from Georgia. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I was blessed, man. Those guys set the bar, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Because if you don't have nothing to shoot for, like you gotta find that person, that bar to keep you motivated.
But see, I think that's picking back on what Chris said earlier, like, you gotta know your history.
Yes.
Like, okay, like,
That's right.
he said
That's
with
right.
Thompson, like, okay, but he was smart enough to know the history of the CSRA.
That's right.
Like, people don't understand, when I was a water boy, I knew Chuck Graham.
That's right.
I knew Kenny Roberts.
Yeah.
People don't understand, God bless him, people don't know this kid by Rico Landon went to Buck. People don't know this kid was cold. I seen that give Thompson the business before Maurice Benson in Washington County. And so I knew the history. I seen people. I knew Buck when I was a water boy. Buck played Curran Harris up there at West Side, you know. I knew these people, you know what I mean? So it wasn't just about Thompson. I knew the people they was playing against, you know what I mean? Like, so I seen all of that, like, I want to make it.
And I think to that point, man, the stuff y'all talking about, you know, just, you know, shout out to Coach Brock, man, and like you said, everybody that came, y'all keep talking about Kenny Roberts, can't forget about Brian Russo, you know what I'm saying, you know, Kevin Mitchell, boys right there, man. But I think that to take it a step further, y'all talking about y'all was bragging, so we was no different. It was inner city hate because we were immature, because we were just kind of riding, but everybody was growing. But what happened was, you know, bro, I wasn't all state. Damn sure wasn't all American. But when I went to Morehouse College, man, I'm sitting there repping y'all boys like, how do we do what we got in the gun? And he don't know it. But I remember, man, y'all, I think Final Four, man, Anton Reese, you know what I'm saying? Y'all played Latonia, man, right there at Georgia Tech. I'm in there repping down here. Now I'm from Richmond. You know what I'm saying? But I'm repping West Side. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing, man. That's how we
You
do
weren't too far removed either.
Yeah, right. Not real in the field, man. So you're right. I mean, you know, I think my challenge to y'all is, you know, I'm working now, little bro in Thompson, which is crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? Understanding, knowing you since you're a little boy, knowing you, and then I'm sitting there, man, doing development right there at Big Oak Park, right there on Willow Road. You know, so for me, man, from my perspective, it's like these are friendships. I think that this is a good platform. I think we should try to, you know, make them more impactful. You know, from my standpoint, man, I'm building 8 affordable homes right across from Big Oak Park, man. That's you and Rick. That's y'all stomping ground. Yeah. You know, but at the end of the day, man, it's just like, you know, we all the same, bro.
Oh yeah, indeed.
We all the same. We all facing the same type matters, man. I ain't gonna call them out, but we face the same type matters.
No, indeed.
And I gotta piggyback off that. I have to, because you and I talk about this all the time. The game of basketball, you using it and it not using you.
Yeah, you gotta use the game to get what you want.
I got cursed out so bad by him and Xavier when I got back from Delaware State. I was spoiled. Yeah, I was spoiled.
Yeah,
the youngest.
You gotta let you know that, right?
Came back with a kid, a girlfriend, still talking about hoop dreams. You understand? Like I was still talking about making it. Pulled me to the side and yoked me up. Both of them. This is first time I'm ever seeing both of my brothers.
But
in my
who on the
face.
yoke though? Who on the yoke?
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost.
I lost.
I ain't gonna say nothing. I lost the yoke, and you know, it was a humbling experience for me because it was always there, both of them. Even my brother Fred, God rest his soul, God rest their soul. You know, they always were there as fans, as brothers, as we supporting our little brother. Now we gotta save you for life without basketball. And it was, what are you gonna do now? Basketball done. You got a family. You got to support. That going overseas is done. Figure it out.